What's good, guys? Welcome back to part 2 of this tutorial. First things first, I want to apologize for the sound quality. I know it's not the best. Basically, when I was recording this whole tutorial, I didn't have my mic plugged in all the way, so I know the sound is not the best. But anyways, before we start, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos. And let me know in the comment if you want to see more Attack on Titan type tutorials, and I'll keep them coming. Also, follow me on Instagram. But yeah, enjoy the tutorial. So yeah, now let's move into the teeth. I think I'm gonna just start bringing the cube, and then let's scale that down. Right. It's gonna turn to like a diamond shape. So let's rotate the Z, something like that. You know, let's isolate. So select and press / or tab or whatever. So let's press tab and then let's bring this down along the Z. Let's add a loop cut there. And let's select these and scale these down. Let's do the same down here. Here we go. Let's go to the side view and let's add a bunch of loop cuts. Let's say 2. Let's select these bottom faces here. We can merge them at center. And let's bring this back. Let's kind of make it curved, more tooth-like. Let's rotate this out. So you get something like this. There you go, that's a tooth there. And then here, what I think I'm gonna do is select these. Let's go I to inset it, and then go to up to vertex mode by pressing 1 or selecting that. Let's go M, merge that center, and let's bring this up. So it's something like this basically. Let me bring this back just to make it a little bit more curved. Something like that. Let's go front view, bring this in as well. Let's select scale this along the X. Something like that. It doesn't look too bad. And let's rename it by pressing F2. Let's go tooth. Let's add a subdivision, see how that's looking. So with this selected, let's select these edges here. Let's press Ctrl B to add a bevel. Something like that. Let's do the same here. And then finally, let's do that here as well. Just so we get something like this, and then we can shade smooth. Let's bring everything back by pressing /. Let's bring it down here. Let's scale it up. And actually, let's just apply. Let's go Object, set origin 3D cursor. So now when we scale it, it will scale there. Let's bring it forwards. Obviously, it's kind of there. Let's scale along the X a little bit. Get something like this. Scale it up a little bit more. Let's go side view. Let's rotate that and let's bring that in like so. Let's select this and let's just make it a little bit fatter along the sides. Right, let's bring this down a little bit. Something like that. There we go. So let me just duplicate this to the side. Let's rotate it along the Z. Like that. Let's go to the side view and bring that in and rotate that. Let's just double press R to rotate freely, and let's go something like that. Looks alright there. Let me just scale these edges here in something like that. And let's add a mirror modifier to it so we can mirror to the other side. And let's select the jaw. So now it's over there. And let's do this one more time. So we get something like this basically. Let me change this one up. I don't really like how triangular it looks. Let me just slide these up a little bit. There we go. That looks a little better, a little bit more tooth-like. Now let's do the same thing for the bottom. So let's just duplicate these. Press M. New collection. Let's call this head. And press OK. And let's select this jaw. Press M and click head. And then let's select all of these teeth. Let's go M. Add a new collection and call it teeth. There, we just make it a little bit more organized. So now you got something like this. like so. Let's add the eyes. Let's go Shift A. Let's add in a plane. Should we start with the plane? You know, let's add in a circle, rotate X, because I have an idea real quick. Let's bring it forwards, scale that down, right there. This is going to be the inside of the eye, basically. This kind of black part. Press F to the face and then insert it a bunch of times. And then let's go into X-ray mode, turn on portion editing, and we're going to kind of squish this down. Rotate it a little bit. Squish this up as well. I basically want to add wrinkles to it to make it a little bit more realistic. So that's why I'm going with this method rather than just adding in a plane. So let's put this behind the eye. Whatever it is. There we go. Let's move this back. So let's rotate it along the Z. Something like that. Let's go back into edit mode and then let's just pull these vertices here. Let's bring these up. So let's select these here and let's bring those forwards. Let's bring everything forwards actually. And let's bring these top edges there forwards as well.
Nigga, that's sick.
So you get something like this basically. Don't worry, this is not going to be the eye. This little area here. So actually let me select that and let's just insert it a little bit. And let's bring that in itself. And then select it all, W, shade smooth. To get something like this. And let's mirror it to the other side. So let's go modifiers, mirror, and select the skull. There we go. And let's move that in the head. Where's the head? And press F2. Let's rename this eye inside. Something like that. And now let's just select some edges. So let's go like these here. And maybe this one here. Just select a bunch of them. So you get something like this basically. Now let's go Control B. Make sure there's one in the middle. So scroll up your mouse wheel until you get one in the middle like that. And then let's go there. And then I'm gonna just select all of these middle ones. Like so, and let's just bring these all forwards. So turn off portion editing, let's go forwards. Let's go into front view. Here we go. So bring it forward a little bit more. Something like that. Just so you can see you get this like kind of texture going on. Like that. You can see it looks pretty cool. Like so. Do not have to do this by the way, but I just like adding this little bit more kind of texture. Remember to save. Now let's add in the eyes. Actually, I kind of like how this looks, to be honest. This area here. What if I delete it? Actually, no, that's gonna be. It's not gonna look how I want. But anyways, let's go front view, and then let's just add in a where is it? UV sphere. Let's rotate along the X 90 degrees as usual, and let's scale that down to fit. Something like that. Let's isolate it. So now the easiest way to make an eye is to select these front faces. So this would be like the pupil, I guess. The black part basically. So with that selected, let's go scale. Let's turn off portion editing. So scale Y -1 to flip it inside out along the Y. and let's bring it back in. Something like that. That looks pretty good. Let's select this outer edge here and add a bevel. So Control B. Make sure you scroll it once so you get one line in the middle like that. Let's go about there, something like that. That looks pretty good. So you get something like this basically. That's an eye. So let's bring everything back by pressing /. And then let's just mirror this to the other side. So add a modifier, let's go to mirror and let's select the skull. Let's make the eye a little bit bigger actually. Let's bring it up. Something like that, there we go, that looks pretty good. And then up here we can edit all of this, so we can come back into edit mode. And then turn on portion editing as usual. Let's lift this up and push this back. Alright, so now that we have that, we got most of it done. All we got to do left is add the hair, which is my favorite part. So I'll show you a little technique you can use to make that. So this is what we got so far. There you go, looks pretty good. So yeah, let's get started with the hair. Alright, let's get started with the hair. What we're going to use is basically a skin modifier. So let me show you how to do that. So let's go Shift A, mesh, and go to single vert, and let's add a single vertex, whatever. Let's go into edit mode, and then let's extrude that up. Let's say 3 times, something like that. This is basically going to be our hair strand, you could say, our root. Let's add another loop cut there. So once we have this, exit out of edit mode, come into the modifiers panel, and then add a skin modifier. You can see what that does. So let's scale that along the Y, scale it in a little bit. And now let's come into edit mode again. Select and press Alt A. So if Alt A doesn't work for you, then just select them, search up, and go to, what is it, mesh resize, I think? Skin resize, there it is. So now you can scale this down, basically to make it to like a point. And actually, let's just add a shortcut real quick. Right click, remove shortcut, and then right click. Assign shortcut, let's go Alt T. So if I select this and press Alt T, there we go. Again, you can choose whatever shortcut you want. It's really up to you. So now we're just going to shape this, give it like a more hair shape, I guess. So remember, select it and Alt T or whatever shortcut you assign. So now let's exit off X-ray mode and let's bring this over here. And we're just going to use the reference image this time. And let's just bring it in front here. There we go. Let's add a subdivision, Control 1 or whatever your shortcut is. And then let's just bring it here, scale up a little bit. Maybe rotate it along the X and then bring it forwards, something like that. Maybe bring it over here, Alt T or whatever your shortcut is, and let's just kind of give it a bit of scale. So I'm going to speed this part up, but you should kind of get the idea. So I'm just going to exit out, select it, duplicate it, come back into edit mode, go to X-ray mode by pressing Alt Z, and then just doing what I've been doing the whole time, and just give it like a different shape. So yeah, I'm gonna speed this up. There you go. Now with the hairs, you could leave it like this, or you could apply it. So you could go object, convert to, and then mesh from curve or whatever, and then press W, shade smooth, and then shade smooth like this. So now if you go into edit mode, it'll be an actual mesh like that, or you can leave it as it is right now with the skin modifier. So like this, it's really up to you. Personally, I kind of like this rough look, at least for now. So I might change it later on, but if you want to turn it into a mesh, that's how you do it. So let's go to object, convert to mesh from curve, right click on it, and then change shortcut. And then you can just choose whatever key combination you want. Mine is Control U and then I have Shift Control U to do the opposite. So I'm gonna just do that real quick, and then obviously shade smooth. So you can select it if you want to make it a lot quicker. Select it and go Control U, and then select the next ones, and then just go Shift R, which will repeat the last action you did. I actually should have done it with all of them. So let me just select all of these, and then let's go Shift R. So select one of these, W, shade smooth, and then let's select all of these, and then we're gonna press Shift R to repeat the last task, basically the last operation. So Shift R, there we go. So you get something like this. And let me just hide this for now because it's kind of distracting me a little bit. Don't forget to save, you don't want to lose this. I don't know what these things are, it's kind of bothering me. I don't know why it's there. It's bugging me out. I probably must have pressed something earlier and I didn't realize. But anyways, now, actually let me bring in the reference images back. So as you can see, it's got little creases here and there. It's like a bit of detail. So we're just going to go into sculpt mode and add that in. If you want to see it properly, so select it and add the multi-res. I think it's called, where is it? There we go. Multi-resolution, and then subdivide a bunch of times, let's say twice. And then let's go back into sculpt mode. And let's add a crease. Now you can see that crease is a lot more pronounced. It's a lot more noticeable. So let me just bring it to the tab again. Turn down the radius, let's go F. Strength. And you can experiment with all of these different brushes, see whichever works. So this is the crease one. This is what it looks like. Let's just make this go all the way down. Okay, yes, this one here. What's it called? Multi-plane scrape. So select that one. I kind of like how this one works. It gives like a sharper line basically, as you can see. But yeah, just experiment with it. And the good thing with the multi-res is it's kind of like a subdivision, so you can view different subdivision levels, as you can see. But you're still not deforming the actual mesh. Obviously, if you wanted to 3D print this, you would apply this at the end. But yeah, this is what it looks like. So I'm gonna just do the same thing for all the other hairs. Alright, so with most of it done, like so, at least the hair, let's add in the inside of the jaw. As you can see, obviously right now it's like, anyway, but you can see there's nothing on the inside, so let's add in the inside of the jaw. I think I'm gonna use a cube or plane, something like that. You know what, let's isolate this. Let's go Shift A, add in a plane, rotate Z. Let's just add a loop cut and delete half of it. Then let's add a mirror modifier as usual. Scale that down. Let's go to the side view and bring that there. There we go. Now let's select this top edge, double press G, bring it down, and let's bring this out towards the X. Just so it's intersecting like that. And then let's add in a bunch of loop cuts. So 2 this way, and let's say 2 this way. Something like that. And then let's just select K and join all of these together. So K for knife tool basically. And then let's select all these faces here. We can delete those, we don't need those. Now let me just pull these in. So select it, double press G, and let's slide all of these in. We need to go in a little bit more. Let's add a loop cut here. Let's go K and draw out. So let's go side view and then X-ray mode, and let's just select this edge here. Let's go back to side view. To the portion editing, let's give it a bit of a curve, something like that. Let's bring it back up. Anyways, add a curve. Let's bring it back up like that. Let's bring it down a little bit. There we go. This is going to be the inside of the mouth basically, so it doesn't really need to be perfect. So the back here, let's extrude out, and then let's scale it along the X. Sorry, turn on clipping, forgot about that. And let's scale these along the X, just to give it, just to make it curve back inwards. We can bring this out. Add a subtle curve, something like that. That looks pretty good. So let's add a subdivision. Shade smooth. Here we go. Let's name it, so F2. Name it mouth dot inside dot bottom. So I'm gonna make another one for the top as well. But anyways, let's turn on the solidify. Well, let's add a solidify actually. Where is it? Here it is. Let's turn up the thickness. You get something like this. That looks pretty cool. Now let's add in a tongue. So let's go Shift A, and let's add in a cube this time. Scale it down. Again, same thing. Split in half. Add a loop cut. Select one side of it and delete all the faces. It can be left or right. It's really up to you. And then let's add in a mirror modifier. Turn on clipping, and let's just bring that down. Actually, let's keep it up. Let's go to side view. So the easiest way to make a tongue, in my opinion, is just to add a loop cut. Like down here, this will be the bottom of the tongue basically. So let's select here, face select there, or press 3, and then let's extrude it out along the Y. Let's bring it up a little bit, and let's extrude out one more and rotate, something like that. Let's add a subdivision. So you get something like this, and let's go back and we can scale the back part and make it bigger. So let's select these, turn on portion editing, scale X. You get something like this basically, resembling a tongue. And again, W, shade smooth. Let's go side view, rotate that, and let's bring that down. So this will sit inside the mouth. Here we go. And then let's just add a loop cut here, and let's select these edges here, so these 4 there, and then press Ctrl B. Actually, before we do that, let's apply the mirror modifier, and now let's press Ctrl B to get something like that. And let's select these ones, and let's bring those in. Turn off portion editing. We can bring those in along the Y and along the Z. Bring it down a little bit. There we go, just as like a little ridge. And F2, let's name this tongue. Let's bring this back down, put it there. Now let's bring everything back. So there we go, we have the tongue there and the bottom of the jaw, like so. There we go. And now all you got left to do is just to parent everything. So I'm gonna parent everything to the skull. So let me select this, the hair, and then the skull. Press Ctrl P. Object, keep transform. Let's do the same with these. If we move the skull, everything should move together. There we go. So we're basically done with the modeling part of things. So let's move on to the materials. So yeah, actually let me just show you real quick. Here we go. So you get something like this. So once you have the head done, let's just bring in the body. I'm not gonna model it because that's just gonna take too long. You gotta play smart, you get me? So I already have one that I downloaded, so I'm just import that in real quick. OBJ. Link in the description as well if you want to get that. There it is there. Let's bring that down. Nice, that looks like a little cute, you know. So let's scale this up. That's about the right proportions, isn't it? Something like that. Let's go side view. And let's bring this forwards a little bit. So you get something like this basically. That looks pretty cool. So this is the hair here. Let me just rename it real quick actually. It's nice to keep things organized. So hair, let's come down here to the materials tab. Let's add a new material. And let's call it hair. So this one's going to be pretty simple. Let's just open up the reference image. As you can see, it's just simply yellow. So kind of like a clayish look. Again, I'm not going with hyperrealism with this one. I just want like a stylized look. So let me just click here. Let's select the eyedropper and let's go something like that. Let's isolate it on its own. Let's go into rendered view. Come here to the right to this little area here. So let's click on here and come down to where it says scene world and let's click that. Just so that we can get like a quick HDRI. Let me just pick. By the way, you can upload your own HDRIs as well onto this. So I've got custom ones. There we go. So something like this. It's a bit too kind of reflective looking. So let me just turn up the roughness a little bit. Okay, that's getting there. Okay. Kind of like that. Let me just make this a little bit more saturated. Maybe turn down the value a little bit. Something like that. Okay. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Let's move on to the rest of it. So let's bring everything back. Pressing /. Okay, now let's get started with the inside of the eyes. So let me just type in, let's rename this eye inside. And I want this to be like a meaty kind of look. Obviously the reference image is just all like straight black. But I want to add a bit of variation. So let's add in a color ramp. And then let's just play with the colors basically. So let me go a bit more of like a red color, like a dark red, brown basically, something like that. And then on this side we want like a really bright red, something like that. Actually, let me make it a bit more saturated. Let's go there. And then just add a bunch more in between. Let's say 3. And this one in the middle here, we're going to make a bit more of like a yellowy color, like a fleshy, more of a flesh color, something like that. We can bring this one in and maybe add another one in here like so. Make this one a little bit more red, something like that. You can just play with it basically. And then let me plug that into the color and let's see how that's looking. Let's isolate on its own so you won't really see much. Let's add in a noise texture real quick. Noise texture. And by the way, what I'm doing, like bring it, you can either find, so Shift A and then go to texture, or just Shift A, click search, or press Shift A S and then just type in whatever you're looking for. So let's bring in a noise texture. Let's plug that color into the FAC, or the FAC, it doesn't really matter. Let's see how that's looking. Okay, it's kind of getting there. Let's bring up the scale a little bit. Let's play with these colors. something like that. Let's bring everything back. So you get something like this basically. Again, you can go with just simple black, it's really up to you, but I kind of like this look. Now let's move into the eye. Alright, so guys, here you can pause the video or take a screenshot and then just copy down the same node setup. There you go, that actually worked out really well. Okay. So I'm gonna just make the back of the head, add a bit more hair so you can't really see this, and then we'll call that a day. It's pretty much done. Thank you guys for watching. Alright, so that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching if you made it all the way here. Basically just, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know how you found this tutorial. Hopefully it wasn't too complicated. But yeah, if you want more Attack on Titan tutorials, I'll keep them coming. Just leave a suggestion down in the comments below or DM me on Instagram. I'll see you guys next week.
You got a few niggas